really big deal because we know that God intended for the Jews to be made into vessels of honor for special purpose. But in Jeremiah 18, God had a point to make. And we see, again, they're extremely difficult people. And so God says, Prophet Jeremiah, listen up, go down to the potter's house, observe, write down what you see. And so he goes to the potter's house. And the potter he becomes frustrated and disappointed because the material that he's working on, the clay that he's forming, it's not cooperating. And it's not yielding, and it's not doing what he's want. It's not pliable in the potter's hand. And so it's not turning out as he hoped. And so he takes the artwork, he crushes it, and he starts all over again. And it says, oh, it was marred. It was ruined in the potter's hands. And so he's in the middle of forming the Israelites for a purpose, but they were very difficult to work with. And so there were so many times he had to stop the process, smash down the clay, and start over from square one because they were not turning out as he hoped. And so the Lord began to speak to me about being willing vessels on the potter's wheel. Because when we say, I want to do the Father's will, we go onto the potter's wheel. Mm-hmm. And when we get to the wheel, all right, it's time to face the music. We have to be soft and moldable and not difficult and resistant. And we have to surrender to his hands, right? Because really, he needs to be able to spend as much time on us as he wants. And when that happens is he's adding pressure and he's spinning us around and he's forming us. But when we're difficult to work with, that's when we become marred, and that's when he has to start over. And so the difference between a vessel for common use and special use, here's the difference. A common use vessel, it's a plain vessel. She's a quick job. It's going to turn out to be dishware for servants or jars for storage. There's nothing fancy about it. But a vessel for special use is a labor of love, and it requires an intricate, timely process. But the big, big difference is the embellishments, because they beautify the artwork and they distinguish it. But as beautiful and as stately as the embellishments are, they require extra poking, prodding, digging, and that's how artwork is added to clay. And so the vessel of honor, it goes to the potter and it says, I love the work of your hand. Please dig into me. Please embellish me. Please perfect me. But a vessel of dishonor, it doesn't like being worked on because it's uncomfortable. And so it becomes difficult with the potter's hands. And so luckily for us, there's no question in our mind what God is requiring. We have a cheat code here. This isn't like an unfair selection process. Like we have the cheat code. And so when 2 Timothy 2, it's 21 to 26, it's actually talking about here's what I require of a vessel for special purpose. And it's literally says right here, well, you have to cleanse yourself from what's dishonorable. You have to be ready for a holy and honorable use. You have to be useful to the master. You have to flee from youthful passions. You have to, desire faith and love and peace and all these things in 2 Timothy 2, 21 to 26. We have the cheat code of what is required from God to be a vessel, a special purpose. Does that make sense so far?
Oh, it absolutely does.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't want to be brutal, but it's in
there. Brutal's good. I like brutal. That's good.
Okay.
Tell it like it is, Cara.
Okay. Yeah. It's not really brutal because we know what's required. If we want to serve for special purposes, then we will yield to his holy process.